We're in Macomb, Michigan. We have a home where we have really good slope away from the home. There's a swale right in the center of the yard. Beautiful design. This was done deliberate by the developer. We have to go really shallow because we do not have very much fall to work with. We can't even use a 4-inch pipe. This is pretty normal. We're going to use the 3.5. We're going to stay shallow. Guys are going to put cleanouts to start the French drain. We got the 3.5 inch, 8 slot. Love that pipe. This is going to go to daylight. It goes to a larger ditch out in the front. And that's how everything was set up to drain here. There's really no city infrastructure, so that's why it's like that. But it's absolutely beautiful here in Macomb, Michigan, let me tell you. Beautiful new homes being built here. So these are 100-footers. So you can see we're over 100 feet. The guys are stringing out 100-foot coils. We're in a drought right now, so we're able to get into some really wet backyards. I like to give the homeowner a fair price and tell them how we can save money. If you educate your homeowner, you let the client know. Let's wait till July, August when we get into our drought season here in Michigan. We'll hook you up. You can see how shallow we are. You can see how that 3.5 inch goes right underneath that sprinkler line. There was standing water here even when we got here earlier this afternoon. This is a second job today, but look at this. This is all full water. You can see it's still glistening, still shiny. So the guys, they broke this. The water started to run down the trench. Kale's pulling the second pipe through. We got two 3.5 inch pipes going under the sprinkler lines. Just as soon as that dirt is removed from that trench, we have a guy right on it with the fabric. You see Valente, he's cleaning the bottom of that trench, helping out. He makes sure that that bottom of that trench is nice and smooth. This is a small job for our crew, so we're kind of standing on top of each other. That's the truth. You know, we got 8 guys here today, so it's going to look like this when you only have just over a 100-foot drain. It's, I don't know, 130 feet, I think. We're built for the big stuff, that's for sure. So we got the second pipe in there, but we just put a cap on it. I just want to talk about this. Now, if we were moving high volumes of water and we needed that pipe to move high volumes of water, we needed to add a third pipe, we would. We're not going to go wide and do 3 wide. We're just not. It's not necessary. We're nice and narrow. We used a 9-inch bucket. We have 2 3.5 inch 8 slot perforated pipes. These are going to flow a lot of water for us. We're going to be flowing 104 gallons per minute with those 2 pipes. We want to dry this up. This swale area during the wet season makes it really hard for them to utilize the yard. As you can see, they got children. We have a trampoline here. They got beautiful landscape. They're sitting on one of the golf courses here in Macomb, Michigan. These golf course lots are just, you know, absolutely so serene. So they want to tighten this up. They don't want to have guests over, come in here to sit and socialize and have to walk through a soggy, saturated yard. I mean, you work really hard for a beautiful home and you should be able to enjoy it. It takes so long for the water to dissipate to the system. All the rain that's going to fall in here, it's not going to run like the water in your driveway or the water off your rooftop. It's going to take days to get to that French drain. That French drain usually runs pretty steady for several days after a big thunderstorm. You get 1.5 to 2 inch rain, you can expect that French drain to be active for days. We're building a flow gate for our 3.5-inch discharge. We're taking this to daylight. Beautiful, really nice. So what we like to do when we're daylighting a pipe, what we'd like to do, we want to get rid of the chipmunks and the squirrels. You know, that's what we're trying to do. So instead of, you know, we're getting away from the critter guard is where I'm going with this, guys. We're getting away from those steel guards that keep out muskrats and larger animals, because the chipmunks, man, the chipmunks are just everywhere and they're terrible. This works pretty good. You know, we love it. We take the 3.5 to 3.5 external coupler. You can see Dirk he's putting some fasteners in. He's making a couple up. If you're one of the contractors that installs our materials, you guys know we like to use fasteners. It's quick, easy, fast. The ground can shift. You can have sinkholes. You can have movement. It doesn't crack like glue. And this stuff is very like rubbery, this material, this HDPE, so it don't crack like PVC. So it's absolutely beautiful. You can see, keeps out the chipmunks. There's a little gap up top there where it's hinged, but outside of that, it daylights really, really nice. So we'll put these on. You guys will get to see what that looks like. Sliding it in under the sprinklers, no problem. Pull it through, connect the next piece. Super easy to work with this pipe. This pipe handles amazing. For a pipe that's so close to the 4-inch in its abilities and what it can do for us, it's like working with the 3-inch corrugated pipe. It handles fantastic. The ground is really hard here, so Francisco wants to lose the smooth nose bucket. We're going to go to the bucket with some teeth to help break through this really hard ground we're in. Put the pin in. That's a fabric staple for a pin. Now the crew have a little better luck getting through this like concrete clay. Oh yeah. Oh, much better. What a difference. Digging in wet clay, we just get a perfect trench bottom with that. All right, the guys are starting to roll out a couple more coils. Where we get deep enough to run a quad pack, we're going to. This is a long enough run to where there's going to be a lot of stone that needs to go into this French drain system if we don't start putting pipe in. You put a quad pack in, it's going to give you more void, more air than stone can. I don't care how big a stone you go with, you're not going to create the void that this pipe will. The weakest point of any French drain is the cut end of a pipe. Do not just stick fabric in it or put fabric over it with a rubber band. We sell these at a fantastic rate, really reasonable, really fair. We take the weakest point of the French drain and we make it the strongest point. You can see how Juan's walking on the quad pack. Don't have to worry about it. This pipe is our strongest pipe. We just try to outdo ourselves year after year after year. I said, this new pipe that we're bringing to market, this 3.5 inch, you know, I want it to be something unique. I want it to be literally in a league all by itself. So we went up in the wall thickness. We went up in the perforations. I mean, we just keep taking things to the next level. We're going to use a 3/4 inch to 1 inch mix of round rock. We're not going to use a jagged rock. We're not going to use a crushed rock. When the flat sides lay together of crushed rock, you don't end up with any void. So it doesn't move as much water as round rock. It's also difficult to work with. And if you've seen an unusual load of stress in an area, say a vehicle drives over the system, and you have like jagged crushed rock that's big pointing into the pipe, you could damage your pipe. We got kind of deep through here. We found out why this area is holding water. The ground was high through here. We ended up with a quad pack. The guys ran 4 3.5 inch pipes. This is a quad pack. They're going to push them together when they dump the stone in, get stone on both sides. They want stone against the fabric, between the pipe and the fabric. We're over 100 feet. We had to add more pipe where it was deep. Now we're going to daylight. We're getting shallow. We're down to 2 lines. Right here, guys. This is how you daylight a system. We're going to cover the whole thing up with stone. Go ahead and close the fabric. Put some sand over top of the fabric. Put the sod back, and that is it. So these flow gates over here to keep the chipmunks out. We do sell these in our online store. This is for the 3.5 inch pipe. We have 2 fasteners holding these on to the flow gate. You want to tape it right here because otherwise this will rotate and this will spin. When it comes to the assembly of your system, it will be the easiest part of your DIY project. The guy snapped and put this together. It probably really just took about 20 minutes, to be honest with you, and that was it. The rock is going to hold all the pipe in place. See, Francisco, he's holding that quad pack so that we get stone between the pipe and the fabric. It's something that we make a lot of effort to do. The fabric will perform better if you have some stone between the pipe and the fabric. And I know people that are building these with no stone at all. They just do a quad pack. They go ahead and encapsulate it in the non-woven geotextile filter fabric, and they work. So we like to show techniques to give you the best performance. And this is how we build them. This is an actual French drain that we've been contracted to put in to fix a real-world water problem. That's perfect right there. That is just perfect. That's really nice. It don't get any better than this right here. This system is going to perform. Always put some sand, a good drainage sand. Always put a good drainage sand on your French drain fabric. You put that clay back sod right up against the fabric, and eventually it's going to work really well once the roots grow through all those holes that we have punched in this fabric. It's a double punch fabric. We have a lot of needle punch holes, and we showed this many times. We go back and we take one of our systems apart and we show the roots growing down into the French drain through the fabric. That's why we don't overlap the fabric heavy when we encapsulate the system. But you want a good drainage fabric so that it performs really good right away, because it's going to take a year for those roots to grow down inside your French drain. Look at this, like it never even happened. Look at that. Unbelievable that all that construction happened. We removed all that clay, put in all that pipe and stone. This is what it means when you take a drain to daylight. This system daylights at the ditch. It literally comes to daylight. It doesn't go underground to a storm drain. It doesn't go underground to a sump pump pit. This actually daylights right at the ditch, and it gravity empties without a pump. It don't get any better than this. It's nice when it works out like this. This is going to be a very efficient system. It's always going to be dry. Just wanted to show you this. That's the clean out on the main line. We want those on the two main lines at the bottom of the French drain, always. Right now, you can see the guys are cutting the fabric. You do not want too heavy of an overlap. You don't. Like 3 inches. Shoot for 3-inch overlap. That's good. If you overlap this heavy, the water won't drain through. It's one of the biggest mistakes in the industry. No way we could have daylighted 4-inch pipe. We didn't have the drop. We didn't have the room. As you can see, we barely got the 3.5-inch pipes to work. We have 2 flow gates. We have a double pipe system. The 2 bottom pipes in the French drain are going to flow a lot of water.
If you enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up. It supports the channel. If you have any questions about yard drainage, leave them in the comments section. I'm your host, Robert Sherwood, and until the next video.